Why does this paint have flake in it? G1 is supposed to be straight black, so why? Oh man, that is one dirty, neglected truck. Oof. Well, as usual, I'm filming this video a little bit out of order, but this one is going to be dedicated to my tow pig, my 2018 F350. This truck has been on the channel a few times. Way early on the channel when I had probably under 1,000 subscribers, I did the 2020 plus front end swap on this thing. Did the black housing sport headlights, the OEM platinum grille, color match black. Got all that wired up. Did some Bilsteins last spring. Most of the original paint match work and mods that I did to this truck were before I had my YouTube channel, you know, 4 or 5 years ago. I think I did the delete on the channel. Again, I probably had like 500 or 1,000 subscribers. So that was way back in the early days. But yes, this is my 2018 F350 with the legendary 6.7 liter Power Stroke diesel. And this is what I use to get, you know, stuff done around the house, but more importantly, this is how I tow home all of my projects with my SureTrack car trailer, which is behind the trees over there. So this thing, you know, I really don't mess with all that much because I need it to be reliable. So I did the delete, you know, change oil, maintenance, stuff like that. I did all the visual mods that I wanted to do on this thing many, many years ago, but some of them are getting kind of tired. But we're gonna get right into the most exciting part of this video right here at the beginning. I got new wheels and tires for this thing, and not just any wheels and tires. They're a beautiful set of forged wheels, brand new tires. And a couple of you are probably saying, you know, what happened to the American Force wheels? And we touched on a little bit in the fleet update video, but we'll get into that a little bit more a little later. But right now, we got to go to the tire shop where the wheels are waiting because I shipped them there because you needed a forklift to unload them. Like they came on a basically LTL, less than truckload freight. So they're at my buddy's dealership right now. We're going to see if we can get them mounted up. And I say see because it might not be that easy. So let's get the new tires that just came. We'll meet the wheels there. We'll see how far we get. And then we can get into all the other stuff that we're going to try and tackle in this video to get this thing mint and ready for summer 2025. Let's get to work. No! They aren't even ceramic coated yet. Morning. Really nothing new on this channel, but it has been 2 weeks to the day since I started filming this video and since we went to the tire shop. So let me bring you up to speed. Basically, met my buddy at the tire shop or the dealership that he works at. We unboxed the brand new Axe Forged wheels, which I'll show you in a second, and got straight to work mounting them. I ended up getting kicked off the service floor because, you know, technically customers aren't supposed to be there, so I didn't get to see a lot of this. I was up in the waiting room. Everything went relatively smooth for the first one, but we basically ended up having some difficulties getting the bead to seat on the rim. It's a 26 by 14 and a 35 by 13.5 inch rough terrain or basically hybrid tire on those things. So very stiff sidewall. And my buddy had a couple guys with cheetah tanks and this, that, and the other, and they were only able to get 2 out of the 4 to seat. So I said, all right, I guess I'll take these home and get a little sketchy. So that's what we did. So finally had some time to mess with it last night and this morning, and we got her done. So these are my brand new Axe Forged AF12s. This is a 26 by 14, of course, 8 by 170 bolt pattern for the Super Duty, with a 35 13.5 R26. I think these are mile trip, and I went with a hybrid or rough terrain RT tire this time. We'll talk about all that a little bit more later. These wheels are so sick. I'm super excited about them, but I got to get these inside before it might possibly rain in a little bit. So I just wanted to show you my setup real quick. First of all, do this, you know, at your own risk, or don't do it at all. It's definitely a little bit nerve-wracking if you've never done it like I have, but I watched a ton of videos and I think that I know what I did that works and why it worked. So many videos out there of guys trying to seat the bead on a rim using way too much ether. I tried to use as little as possible, and I took 2 attempts per wheel and tire, and I think basically the key in my case was getting the tire even all the way around. Make sure it's seated on the bead on this side, and then making sure it's centered on the rim so you don't have like a bigger air gap over here and then no gap over here. Because the important thing is getting the ether or the starting fluid or whatever flammable product you're using down into the tire. You see all these videos where guys like spray it all over the rim and then they light it and then there's a huge fire and the thing doesn't seat and then your wheel and tire is just on fire. It's a disaster. That's not what I wanted with an $8,000 set of wheels. So I got one of those little red tip things, made sure I had space to go down in here, did a quick bead the whole way around and then a little right there, lit my little stick on fire there, quick tap, boom, seated. And of course, make sure that you have air running through the thing the whole time. I think that helps the spray kind of atomize and gives you a better, you know, explosion, if you will. So got these 2 done, the 2 remaining ones done, without really any issues for my first time doing this. A little bit of an adrenaline rush, you know, no complaints there. But again, we will get into these wheels in detail later because they are so sick. But right now I'd like to shift my attention back over to the truck for a minute. And also, while it's crappy out today and that now we're finally done mounting them and stuff, I think we'll ceramic coat those wheels so they're ready to bolt on my truck, which has gotten even more dirty since I started the video. Look at these wheels. Yeah, that's bad. But we've got some paint work to do. As I described early in the video, I paint matched all the mirrors when I first bought this truck, and 6 years has kind of taken its toll. So got to get these caps off, repaint this one. I think the other one is the same. I think the door handles on this side are okay. Door handles on this side, both are going to need a repaint. They got some chips. That one too. And then this one, Super Duty guys, let me know if you've ever seen this. My passenger mirror like melted on the top. I don't know if it's where the truck was parked and the sun was reflecting off the window and like superheating this area, but this happened like very quickly after I bought the truck, and obviously I couldn't do anything about a warranty or anything because I had them custom painted, but I really don't think it has anything to do with the paint because it only happened on one side and just on this piece of plastic. But I'm gonna get some plastic weld, bodywork this a little bit, see if we can get that nice and smooth. And then I think we'll just end up repainting this cap too because it's got a couple little scratches in it. So we might have to bust out the old inflatable paint booth in this video. I got to go mix up some G1 paint, which is just basically black. I think they call it shadow black, which is the same as the, what is it, UA on the older truck. I did some research on this. These two trucks are the exact same paint code. Well, the paint code is G1, where are we, or UA, but they're exactly the same. Ford just updated the code or something. So if I get some paint for this, if we ever need stuff for this, or I'm always doing stuff in black, it'll be good to have. So let's get these things in the garage. We'll get those ready to be ceramic coated. And in the meantime, let's start taking apart the mirrors, the door handles, start prepping stuff for paint. Now, doing this was a lot scarier when this truck was brand new. The thing had like 500 miles on it and was the most expensive thing I'd ever purchased when I started taking it apart last time. No big deal now. There we go. This truck is so dirty. Hopefully this is coming up next, full paint correction on this thing, but Super Duty stuff. Many hours later, got everything prepped, ready for paint. Anything that had a rock chip, sanded down, you know, 320, and then everything else. Uh-oh, coming to inspect our work. Okay, guess we passed. Yeah, 320 on any, you know, major rock chips, and then anything that didn't have a chip, just quick buzz with 800 and or a gray scuff pad. Good to go. Got the platinum area masked off. Might have to redo that after sanding. Also, I remember the last time we did this in 2019, I didn't take this whole piece off. You can actually see where I masked it behind the mirror. I didn't realize that there was one little bolt that, you know, completely got this thing off, which would have made our lives a whole lot easier, but that's good. But up here, I have repaired whatever the heck happened to the top of this thing with some plastic welds. A lot of time in sanding and getting this done. I wonder what the price would have been to just get another one of these or what, but either way, I had already spent a bunch of time the first time around smoothing this out, because obviously this would have all been textured from the factory. So I think I'm going to hit this with a little bit of primer just to fill in hopefully any little nibs or anything, sanding marks, and then we should be good to spray down some color on the rest of these. Door handles are right here. What do you think, dude? You need a haircut. Time for a summer haircut. That's for sure. It's too hot out here. So, getting close to spraying some color. Painting just takes so long all the time. Got the old Vevor booth ready to go here. I'm not sure where I'm going to paint yet. If my hose will reach, I'd love to do it right here where the Q5 is. Or maybe out back. It's not windy today, which is great. Beautiful day. So we'll see. But let's get some primer down, get the booth up, do our final prep, spray some color in, and then we'll see if we can get the rest of the stuff reassembled and then get to work getting this whole truck back together. Check it out, bruh. It's a professional paint booth. All right, come on into the booth. How'd we do? Shoo! Couple nibs, no big deal. Not too shabby for a guy in his backyard. This was the part that was repaired. It was all wavy and crappy. This one looks good. I think we're in good shape. I don't see any runs either, which is rare for me. Oh, there's one. Oh well, you don't see the underside of the door handle anyway. Spoke too soon. You know what I noticed when I was laying this down is, why does this paint have flake in it? G1 is supposed to be straight black, so why? It almost looks blue. What happened here? Oh man, I hope this matches all right. I'm gonna be so pissed if I spent the whole day painting these parts and this is like an Acura paint code. Why? Oh my god, why? Why is there blue flake in it? And it's very subtle. It's not like it's tuxedo black. Alright, well, I guess we'll see how it looks when the mirrors and stuff and everything goes back on the truck. But this stuff came out really good. I'm happy with it. I'm absolutely beat. And my throat hurts. So hopefully I'm not getting sick, because I got a kid in daycare now, and he gets sick all the time. But I'm going to clean up. The garage is a huge mess. We'll eventually move these into the garage so they can cure overnight. And we'll see how they look in the morning. All right, well, I don't see any flake in direct sunlight. At least this lighting anyways. So we'll see how it looks tomorrow. But how are we looking on the lightning? I mean, it's straight black. It should be straight black. I don't see why it would be anything different. Obviously the truck is filthy, so that's not really going to help us, but I think we'll be fine. Beautiful evening. Catch you guys tomorrow. Well, it's still wet. Just peeled the tape on these babies. Shoo! Perfect. Well, sun was out. Update, did get sick. I feel like my body was thrown out of a moving vehicle at 80 miles an hour. But we're going to try and fight through it today. Don't tell my wife. She thinks I'm resting. So, not supposed to be working, but here we are. So, I had these out curing in the sun this morning. There definitely is, in direct sunlight, a little bit of blue. Sorry, there's a bunch of pollen on these. We're peak pollen season right now, but lawn looks good. But there is definitely a little bit of blue pearl in this, but I really don't think, I'm really hoping it's not going to be noticeable. And I did a little bit more research this morning, and when the paint guy was mixing it up, he said something about pearl, and I was like, that's not right. Hopefully he doesn't do that. And I guess I should have paid more attention. This has a blue pearl in it, and I think certain years or certain mixtures of G1 are going to have that blue pearl in it. There was a guy that had a GT350 or GT500, like a 2018 or something, and he said it had blue pearl in it, factory G1 paint. Certain Explorers, I think, have it. So if there's any paint experts out there, why is the same paint code available either in straight black or with a blue pearl? I wish that when automakers would change the color of the paint or change the mixture, just make it a new paint code. But I digress. I guess, lesson learned. Next time, if he's mixing up G1, I'm just going to tell him, find me a mixture that doesn't have any pearl in it, or just give him straight UA, which is the original Ford straight black that the Lightning is. But yeah, these came out really good. Very, actually don't even see any on this one, but, I'm sure there's a couple nibs of dirt here and there, but I'm really not too worried about it. For these pieces, we can get a buffer on these probably once they're on the truck at some point. These are the type of parts that, if you put a buffer on this right now, it's going to spin into another dimension. So these are easier to buff on the truck. Yeah, we got a couple little nibs there, but that's an easy buff. Maybe slight wet sanding on that one. But everything else, I think, little nibs, come out, good to go. But I wanted to show you guys the next thing that we're gonna work on. And I promise we will get to these wheels, which are almost as tall as the C6 or C8. We'll get into these here shortly. But I forgot to mention that during the disassembly part of the mirrors, because I was rushing, nothing new there, this has bitten me more times than I'd like to admit to, I broke the lower part of the mirror. The Super Duties had the upper and lower mirror. I broke this one, I pried too hard and just cracked it. Thankfully, my buddy Mike at wallsfordparts.com came through in the clutch for a couple of parts in this video. First one, obviously the mirror was at my door the next day. I like to use OEM Ford stuff if I can. Obviously you can get these on Amazon or from China somewhere, but this is a nice truck. I like to use OEM parts when I can. Another thing that I'm hoping to tackle in this video is my sunroof on this truck broke last year. This is a really common issue on the panoramic roofs on the Super Duties and the F-150s is these tracks break. So I hit up Mike, said you got those tracks, and boom, same thing at my door the next day. If you guys need parts for your Ford, definitely check out wallsfordparts.com. Mike has got the best prices around, sometimes up to 40% off retail. And if you use code CHRIS25 at checkout, you're gonna get 25% off shipping. You are not gonna beat those prices. The shipping is incredibly fast. You need Ford parts, they got them. So the garage is a disaster. I'm gonna try and clean this up. I wanna get started reassembling the mirrors, reassembling the emblems, get everything back on the truck, and let's see if we can tackle that sunroof as well. And then if the weather ever cooperates, we'll wash the truck, bolt these beautiful wheels on, and see how we did. See if they fit. They are gonna be tight. Not sure if we're gonna be able to turn or not. You don't need to turn where we're going. Also, quick side note, I forgot to mention, again, before I started my YouTube channel, these side markers, took these all apart, painted the inside black. Little touches, guys, little touches. All right, let's get to work. Looks kind of sleek without the mirrors. Quick side quest, buried the mower in the wetland back here, so had to use 4x4 and everything to get her out, but back to mowing. Catch you guys in a bit. All right, here's the problem with the sunroof. I should give you guys a sneak peek here. I already took down these little things here. This truck is a Platinum Ultimate, so of course it has the panoramic sunroof, and the cabs are basically the same as the 15 plus F350s. So they all came with this same sunroof and they all have this problem, which appears has happened to mine, is the rails crack and cause this to happen. Gets jammed up, now it's popped down, does something like that, and then you can put it back. It will vent. You hear that pop? That's what causes this. So this is what we want to take care of, is we want to grease all these seals when we're done with this so that it doesn't have all that friction pulling on these plastic rails. It's a nice sunny day today. I think that for once there's not any rain in the forecast. So let's see if we can get the rails done. Obviously the mirrors and emblems are back on. They look great. I'm gonna give the old paint, that's on the mirrors there, a quick buff at some point. Probably after I wash the truck. But believe it or not, it has been, like 4 or 5 days since I finished painting these things. That little sickness that I thought I had absolutely put me on my ass. I sound a little bit nasally right now. I have had every symptom in the book from, my head all the way down to my toes, basically. Full body aches, fever, sore throat, GI issues. Let's just say the paint isn't the only thing that had the runs this weekend. Anyways, it is now Monday of the next week, and I just barely was able to get outside today, have enough energy to get the mirrors and stuff on. Yesterday I reassembled everything and it took a lot out of me just doing that, but I'm feeling a little bit better today, so hopefully I'm done with everything. Like I said, I've had every symptom, so I don't know what else I could possibly have. But yeah, let's get the sunroof done, and then we'll finally turn our attention to those wheels. All right, pretty easy there. Here is the track. You can see this one is broken right there. I don't see anything else that's broken on this side, which is good. So hopefully just the track is our problem. I think that's the case 98% of the time, but sometimes you do have people that have other parts that break. I think mine's been broken for probably like a year at this point. Never used it last year because of this. Oh, there's a piece. So that could be jamming it up. That's very common. These crack and break and you get a piece down there, so we got to make sure we clean all that out. But yeah, again, everything else looks okay. So I think if we can replace this track, which I'm gonna go on YouTube and watch a couple videos on how to do it, we will hopefully be good to go. And then we can grease up all these seals and the whole way around this thing, so that it doesn't exert so much force on these tracks when you pop it for the first time in 6 months if you live in a place like New Hampshire where you get long winters. And now it looks like an interior detail is in order as well. Let's get to work. This is what we need to be lubricating. All right, sunroof. Check, done, repaired. Really not that bad of a job. Wish I did it. I think this thing probably broke actually 2 years ago. I don't think I opened it at all last summer. With the help of YouTube and Mike over at Walls Ford, easy job. Also gave the interior a detail using Geon Interior Detailer. Super great product, doesn't leave anything greasy, goes on easy, wipes off easy, smells incredible. And this truck is looking brand new inside. Looks great. So, interior set to go. Here's the old rails. So you can see this one was broken right here. And I didn't find any pieces of plastic in the track there, but this one was broken. This one was broken in the same spot, right there, but also right here, which is, I think, this piece, or no, this piece, and then another, I don't even know where this came from, but these were down in the track, which is likely what was preventing it from moving and operating correctly. So there's the part number if you guys need it to replace the tracks in your 17 and up Super Duty, and I think 15 through whenever they updated the F-150. It might even still be good. Yeah, obviously, again, highly recommend ordering from Mike over at Walls Ford. Gonna be tough to beat their pricing and customer service. Now, let's finally get to the main part of this video and the part that I'm most excited about, these beautiful Axe forged wheels. So I bought my truck in March of 2019 and immediately ordered a set of 24x12 American Force Genesis wheels and some mud terrain tires. I think they were County Hunter Furies, I think. And I've been running them ever since. So what is that? Like 6 or 7 summers on that same wheel setup, which if you guys are car guys or truck guys, like we like to change wheels, like we like to change our underwear. Okay, maybe we change our underwear a tiny bit. Most of us anyways. We like to change up wheels. So I mean, 6 or 7 years for me with the same wheel setup, I decided to throw the forces on Marketplace. Some guy, and now a viewer of the channel, came up and bought them. And I had a viewer of the channel, Chuck, who reached out and said, hey, I work at Axe Wheels. If you ever need anything, let me know. So I said, no problem. Now I said, I do need a set of wheels for my Super Duty. And he said, what do you need? I said, well, I've done 24x12. I'd really like to do 26s just to try it. And but I'd like to think, I think I'd like to keep them as a 12 wide just so I can be sure that they're going to fit exactly the same as my old setup did. And he said, that's great, but there's a problem. 26x12 is going to be a completely custom order, and it's going to be like 4 months before they come in. So I started looking, and he said, I have a set of the 26x14 Axe forged AF12s in black and milled in stock. What do you think? And I was like, I really don't know if I can get 14 wides to fit, but you know what? Let's go for it. And there's a reason why I decided to just jump on these, and the main one is I'm finding that a lot of the forged wheel manufacturers there's not as many black and milled setups as, I guess, or they're not as common as they used to be as far as, you know, in these bigger sizes. Everything that's in stock on most websites is in the raw polished finish, which is what all of your, you know, Instagram clout chasing truck guys are wanting, is the polished wheels. If you don't have polished wheels and 117 rock lights and, you know, 16 wides with 5 inches worth of spacers with the whole wheel sticking outside of the truck, what are you even doing? And I've done it. I've done the polished wheel look before. My Harley Super Duty, my F350, 2006, rear captain's chairs and everything. Absolutely love that truck. I did a set of 24x12 American Force blades in polished. And all polished wheels look great for about the first 5 minutes you have them on the truck. And then they constantly need polishing, or they need to be stored indoors on basically a show truck. For a truck like mine that sits outside 24/7, 365, polished wheels are a nightmare. You will need to polish them once a month or at minimum for them to look good. And aluminum polishing is terrible. It's just awful, awful work. Shout out to the guys who do it. You guys are the real MVPs. It is dirty, hard work. So polished, not for me anymore. At least not until I can get my truck in a garage at night and for most of the time. I like black and milled anyways. My truck's black. It's got mostly black accents. I think black and milled is perfect. I reached out to some of the other manufacturers, KG1, American Force, JTX Forged, and all of them were the same deal. Nobody kept the black and milled in stock. It was all going to be 17 or 18 week lead time and you know, pretty crazy pricing. So Chuck said, I have one of these in stock in the country in our warehouse in Florida. I said, yeah, I'll take them. We'll see if I can get them to fit the truck. And they were at my doorstep or at the dealership like 3 days later. So now you know why I got them. Let's take a look at them. These are the AF12s. Forged meaning, for those of you guys that don't know, this was once a 26 by 26 by 14 block of aluminum that was then put in a CNC mill and milled into this shape, then powder coated and then milled again to give it these accents. So that's another reason why I guess the black and milled stuff is harder to come by, is it's more labor intensive. Axe makes not only forged wheels, but they make the rotary cast wheels as well, a little more budget conscious. But you know, I came from a forged wheel. I wanted another forged wheel. They have tons of forged wheel offerings, the AF7, I think the AF8, the AF12, and a couple other options. But these look so sick. I love the milled accent in here. Got this one here. Just the right amount of black, and then, raw aluminum, which I guess is powder coated in like a clear after that. So these should be super durable, super easy for me to keep clean. They look insane. If you guys need any sort of wheels for anything, definitely give Axe a look. They do cars, trucks, SUVs, all sorts of bolt patterns, all sorts of sizes. I'll leave Chuck's contact information in the video description. He's always super responsive, super nice guy, and definitely willing to work with you to get the wheels that you need for your car. I kind of am thinking about wheels for the SQ7 now, but let's focus on these first. Tires, I went with, what are these? Mile Trip 35 13.5 R26, which is the exact same size I had on the truck before, 35 13.5. There's a reason, or that's the main reason I was trying to get these to stretch, I hate to use that word, on this 14-inch wide wheel, was to make sure that I was using the exact same tire that I had before, because I already had to do some trimming on the Super Duty 6 years ago when I put the 24 by 12s on. So I'm hoping that even though the offset is going to be a little bit more, which is minus 76 on these, by the way, that hopefully, that because the tire size is the same, maybe it will be minimal trimming. We'll see. I don't know. Could be bad. It could be real bad. We're about to find out. But I went with RT, or rough terrain as they're calling them now, which is kind of like a mud terrain, all-terrain hybrid. So I'm hoping that these are a little bit more quiet than the mud terrains. After 6 years of the mud terrains on the Super Duty, the road noise was just starting to get to me. They look awesome, but I'm going to be honest, I just don't off-road my truck really. If I wanted to off-road, I'd buy a Bronco or a Jeep. So I wanted something that looks good, that I can still go on dirt roads with and not get stuck, in grass on, but that might be a little bit more quiet. So that's what I did. Went with the rough terrain. So these are the wheels. Now we're ready to throw them on. Almost. We got to protect these. So let's talk about that. So to make sure these brand new wheels stay protected, I'm going to be using the best products in the game, starting with Q2 Rim Evo from Geon. This wheel ceramic coating is going to provide advanced protection for any type of wheel, polished, painted, powder coated, anodized. Not only is it going to safeguard your wheels for superior protection, but it also has improved self-cleaning capabilities. Should make brake dust just wash away and make maintenance washes really, really easy. Of course, with any ceramic coating, we're going to start with a prep solution to make sure that the surface is clean and ready for a ceramic coating to bond to it, using Geon Prep and a couple of their microfiber towels. My favorite part about Geon products is not only is there instructions in all of their ceramic coating packages, but also for all of their products. If there's any question as to how you apply it, there's a QR code on the bottle which you can scan with your phone, and it brings you right to a video of not only the product features but exactly how to apply it. Don't need to run inside and go to a computer, just scan it right on your phone and you're ready to roll. So yeah, quick spray down with the prep. Make sure we get in all the nooks and crannies, and then we're going to come through with a microfiber. Make sure that the surface is surgically clean and ready for ceramic coating. Don't forget the backside too. Once that's done, we can apply the Q2 rim coating to either the included pads or cloths, or sometimes I like to use a little microfiber pad, in this case just because the wheels are a very complex design and it gets into hard to reach area as well. But just like any other ceramic coating, want to level out the product in one area, make sure you've got good coverage, get in all those nooks and crannies. And then this particular product, again, like most ceramics, just buff it off immediately. I like to use 2 towels. Make sure you've got the extra clean towel number 2 for that final wipe, give you the best shine possible, and make sure that you've removed all of the excess product. And that's it. Let these babies cure for about 12 hours and our wheels are protected. Let's knock out the other 3. Good morning. It is the next day. We got the brand new wheels and tires ceramic coated last night. They came out incredible, and now we know they're protected up to 18 months of protection. Brake dust and dirt should rinse right off, going to make maintenance a lot easier and keep those things looking good for a long time to come. Now the only thing that's not looking good is just like the start of this video, which was 4 weeks ago at this point. I think 4 weeks ago today I started filming this video, is the truck. Still covered in pollen, dirt, dust. I honestly don't even remember the last time I washed this thing. The wheels are the worst I have ever let them get. It's embarrassing. So it's time to spend a good amount of time washing this thing. Just going to be a heavy rinse first. Then I'm going to move on over to some more Geon products. Foam, going to let it soak in, then rinse. Probably going to load this up in the foam cannon, do our regular 2-bucket wash, iron wheel cleaner. And then people rave about this online. I'm super excited to try their wet coat. Apparently, when you're doing the final rinse on the truck, you just spray this on and then rinse it off. And it's got this like super hydrophobic like top coat effect. But as with any wash, never recommend doing it in direct sunlight. And the day is, it's already almost 9 o'clock. But thankfully, I've got this beautiful maple here, which is giving me a little bit of shade. And thankfully, Canada apparently is on fire, so we got a ton of haze today. Why does this happen every year? But I gotta get to work getting this thing clean so we can finally get these wheels bolted up. Let's go. Alright guys, the truck is finally clean for the first time in months. What a relief to not see this thing covered in dirt and pollen and bird poop and everything else. Now let's try what I'm most excited about, Gion's wet coat. So you're supposed to use this when the vehicle is clean but still wet, so before you start your drying phase. Let's just give this another quick wet here. Now I ceramic coated this truck, I think 3 or 4 years ago, and it sits outside all year round, so it basically has 0 beading left. So apparently we just spray a couple sprays of this stuff on per panel and then rinse it off immediately. You can already see the water starting to bead there. Wow. And then they actually say you can rinse up so it has more time to react. That is wild. It looks like we just ceramic coated this. I don't know how long it's supposed to last. We can check the specs, but if you do this every wash, now your drying phase should be a breeze, which is the whole point of increasing the hydrophobicity. Hydrophobicity, I think it is. What a word. All right, let's do the rest of the truck and get this thing clean. Driving test down the road, just because I have this thing now, looks like we're about, low 60s on interior noise with the stock tires. I never did compare it with the mud terrains, but let's see what it does when we get the new wheels and tires bolted up, which we're gonna do right now. Oh man, we done it now. Shoo! Oh, they look so sick. Go ahead and say it. BRODOZER in full effect. Look at this pavement princess. Never seen a dirt road in its life. Psst, no sidewall, mall crawler. Ready for the Florida Georgia Line concert later? That thing looks dumber than a squatted truck. You know, wheels always tend to drum up all sorts of opinions and arguments, and you know what? Go ahead, start them in the comments. There is certainly plenty of people out there that don't like the big wheel, small sidewall on the Super Duties or diesel trucks, but I've been in the diesel truck world per se since 2016 or 2015, I think. Just when the, you know, big wheels were kind of coming out, and I've always been a fan of them. If you're taking your truck to Moab and, you know, or off-roading it every day, this is a terrible choice. Don't do this. There's no sidewall. The tires are not wide enough per se. This is not intended to be an off-road vehicle. I already described, I really don't off-road this thing. The most this thing sees is, you know, a graded paved or a graded dirt road once in a while. What it does see is a lot of towing and a lot of regular truck use, and I like it to look good. And the same thing with the 24x12s. It served me well. This truck has more miles on it towing than it does not. It proved you can tow just about anything you want with this thing with 24x12s. I think the 26x14s will be the same, and hopefully be a little bit quieter with these mile trip rough terrain tires. But man, do those things look sharp. I personally think both look good. I like a Super Duty or a diesel truck with, you know, a 17 or 18, maybe even a 20 with a lot of sidewall, maybe a little bit less offset. But I see a rig like this going down the road, I'm like, ooh, that looks good. I like both of them. Within reason, like I said, I really don't like the whole wheel sticking out side of the truck. You know, you get a 16 wide and then add a 3-inch wheel spacer. This is honestly a little bit more than I would like, and that's still less than half of the tire sticking out. These are -76 offset. I think most 14 wides are like a -90. I think the American Forces are a -90. So this is, like I said, I wanted 26x12s, but they're just like unobtainium in a milled finish with any reasonable lead time. So these things look sick. I'm super happy with that. They're all bolted up. I'm fired the frig up about how they look. Now let's see what I was worried, or what I have been worried about the whole time is, will this thing turn? Obviously you put big offset wheels on a truck or anything else for that matter. Now this right here is out farther and therefore swings a larger radius. So you have clearance problems here in the back and here in the front. You can see I already trimmed my lower valance here, and it's hit a few times and actually cracked the paint here because I paint matched this lower valance as well, and also rubbed on the bumper a little bit. You can see it actually has a little bit of rust right there. And when I first put the 24s on, I clearanced under here a little bit, did some cutting, some trimming, but you take one step back, you know, you'd never notice. So will we need to do more of that? I would gamble yes. But I'm not willing to do any major cutting, but I think with a little bit of delicate trimming, we should be able to get this thing to turn without much problem. We will see. My 24s did rub. Even my wife knew when she drove this thing, you know, if it had the summer tires on it, you couldn't really go full lock. So I might do a little bit more trimming with hopes that we can turn this thing full lock to lock with minimal or no, you know, rubbing. So let's fire it up. Well, actually, first I'm going to torque the wheels by hand. I don't like to jam them on with the impact and take all the powder coat off those brand new spiked lugs I just got. So let's torque those by hand. Then let's fire it up, turn the wheel, see where we got clearance issues. I bet we do. Looks like we got a little work to do. Let's try the other way. I don't know about over here. Might have to trim a little bit. We'll see. Yeah, we're gonna be in there a little bit. For sure. This side, I don't know, might clear better. We'll see. We got a little work to do, but I think it's doable. Apples to apples, about 35 miles an hour, 63, 64 decibels, exactly the same. That might change a little bit if I'd done it before and after up on the highway, but right off the bat, these things are a lot quieter than my mud terrains were. I mean, they're not silent, but with a tread pattern like that, I don't know how you could expect them to be, but they are definitely reasonably quiet. We'll get them up to, I don't know, about 50 here. And see how the balance is. And two of them are not balanced. And I don't know which two, because only one of them needed weight. The other two, or the other one that they were able to balance, balanced out perfectly with no weight at all. So we'll see how this thing drives at speed. I might still need to get two of them balanced, or three. But so far, very happy with the tires. I spent a little bit of time doing some trimming. I trimmed a little bit more off those plastic pieces that are right on the fender right there. Again, I trimmed these back in 2019, way before I had a YouTube channel. Just a little bit, nothing that you could replace, like a couple dollars from Ford if you wanted to, and if I didn't tell you that they were trimmed, you would never be able to tell. Front bumper, first of all, that little tiny spot that was rusting from where the old tire setup was running, I cleaned that up and hit it with a touch-up pen so that won't get any worse. And then I ran to Lowe's and bought some washers and quickly spaced the bumper out like 1/8 of an inch. And it's better. I still need to do a little bit more, but right now my turning / rubbing situation, I would say, is exactly the same as the past 6 summers have been, if not a little bit better, just with those two quick things. So for basically $2 in washers, I'm the same as I've been used to driving this truck for forever, basically, with my summer bro tire setup. I get a full turn of the wheel before something starts rubbing either way. And I think the past few summers it's been between 3/4 and 1 turn before it starts rubbing. So I think if I space the bumper out maybe 1 or 2 more washers, so like a 1/4 inch total, we may get away with almost no rubbing on this setup, which is insane. 26x14s on 35x13.5s. with a level. This thing is a 2.5 inch ready lift level. That's it. It is bone stock in the back. Other than that, it's stock in the front. And that would be pretty wild. And they make bumper spacer kits that are like 1 inch or over 1 inch for these trucks, but it makes it look like the truck is Sir Francis bottom tooth. Like it moves the bumper out too far. I want it to be very subtle. The bumper is slightly offset from the fender from the factory, and I think if you move it like an 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch, no one is going to notice. I didn't even notice after I did it. I had to look back at my picture to actually see that it was just slightly different. So point being here, just trying to do real simple stuff to get these to fit. I'm not willing to cut the truck, cut anything major. And right now we're cruising around. So the truck is totally drivable as is, but I'm going to see if I can get it a little bit better. But the sun is going down. It is a beautiful spring day here. It's supposed to rain, I think, for the next 2 days. And this video has been delayed like a week already, and it took a month to film it. So I'm gonna try and wrap this up tonight. I'll mess with the bumper a little bit more in the future, but tons of progress made. Let's go hard park this thing and take a look at it. duties. Why does the limited slip turn off after 20 miles an hour? Super Duty guys, let me know. She passes the burnout test. Hard to do with these trucks. They like, you know, limit the throttle and then traction control does something or it shifts into second, and then next thing you know the wheel speed's 100 and then the limited slip shuts off. But hey, it does burnouts. Oh, I'm in love, guys. The look is just, it's all that. 26s, I love them. Again, wheels, everyone's got their opinion. Let me know what you guys think. Do you like the 26s? Do you like the look of the big wheels, or are you more of a you know, smaller wheel, more sidewall in a truck kind of guy? Like I said, I like both, but this truck I've always done kind of the big wheel thing, and I like it. Anyways, to recap, we got a ton done in this video. I apologize, it's probably long at this point. It took way too long to get out, but all of the parts that have been getting beat up over the years are repainted. This matches perfectly. I guess if you got under here with like a detail light, you might be able to see that there's that blue flake in there. But paint guys, let me know, why does some G1 have blue flake in it and others don't? Mirrors look great, the door handles look great. We repaired my sunroof, which I just closed actually, but it works perfectly. Temperature's actually starting to come down finally. Maybe we'll open that on the way home. Got my brand new axe forged wheels and tires mounted, 2 of them at the tire shop, 2 of them by myself. Had it up to 55, it was actually really smooth. Then ceramic coated them with Geon products. Finally got this truck cleaned up for the first time in months. I think maybe, excuse me, even since the first time since winter. And she is looking real slick. This is not too bad for a 7-year-old truck that has lived outside its entire life. And I have not buffed or ceramic coated this truck since 2021, which is the only time I've done it. So this is a testament to taking care of your paint, using the 2-bucket method, not going through automatic car washes. I mean, hello. You guys can do it too. All right, guys, that is a wrap on the Super Duty. This thing is ready to tow this summer, ready to bring home whatever projects or whatever things I find next, and it's gonna look damn good doing it. Thank you guys for watching. Leave the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. More Marauder content coming, more everything content coming. Catch you guys in the next one.